Counselor Troi is an iconic character. But who is Counselor Troi? Hey Trekkies, Christian Fox here with another video for you. Today, I want to talk about the iconic Counselor Troi in TNG and answer the question, who is Counselor Troi? Counselor Deanna Troi, a Betazoid native, is one of the main protagonists of TNG. Troi has been portrayed by Marina Sirtis since the series premiered in 1987. Sirtis plays an older Troi in Star Trek Picard. In her role of counselor, Troi is responsible for maintaining the mental health of the Enterprise crew, assisting in first contacts, and acting as an advisor to the captain in a crisis. Although Counselor Troi isn't able to read people's thoughts given that she's not a full Betazoid and is actually half human, she is able to sense emotions. Throughout the series, we get to see Troi use those abilities to help Picard in dangerous situations. She was able to communicate with a telepathic alien, allowing the ship to escape a deadly area of space. She helped the crew determine that Farpoint Station was actually a living being, and helped the Enterprise temporarily lock weapons on Shinzon through his cloak, giving them a much-needed tactical advantage. One of the challenges of the character is that it's often very obvious to the viewer when a character is lying or when they're up to something. Her empathic abilities are actually much better utilized in Picard. Outside of her bridge duties, she often helped crew members work through their personal demons. She was crucial in helping Reginald Barclay deal with his social anxiety and transporter phobia. She helped Ensign Brooks work through the death of her husband, and helped Captain Picard deal with his various traumas such as being assimilated by the Borg and the tragic death of his brother and nephew. Counselor Troi, although not a command officer, did take command of the bridge during a ship-wide disaster. Troi didn't have the same technical knowledge as the rest of the bridge crew, but she was able to take charge and prove herself as a leader. Finding that she liked being in command, Troi does take a command test to become a commander and get more time in the captain's chair. Much like the rest of the crew, Counselor Troi does have her fair share of mind-bending sci-fi experiences. These include experiencing a telepathically induced alternate reality while investigating the death of an officer, becoming a receptacle for violent emotions when dealing with an alien mediator, and even temporarily losing her powers when they encounter 2D lifeforms. When it comes to romance, Counselor Troi is no slouch. She has a ton of flings, but the most interesting is her relationship with William Riker, and a brief fling with his transporter clone, Thomas Riker. Troi and Riker were lovers prior to the start of the series, and later get married in the TNG film Star Trek Nemesis. They eventually have children, but more about that when I get to Picard. In pop culture, Troi is known for her wild outfits in lieu of the standard uniform, something she gets in Season 6, her eccentric and overbearing mother, and for saying the obvious when it comes to people lying or hiding something. Counselor Troi appears in Star Trek The Next Generation, the Next Generation films, Star Trek Voyager, and Star Trek Picard.